I'm a 33-year-old woman, and I've been married to Brandon, 36, for the last 8 years. We met in our 20s at a marketing firm in Chicago. He was one of those people who walked into a room and immediately made everyone pay attention. He had a way with words, always projecting confidence and control, which later slipped as his double life unraveled. I was finishing my MBA and juggling full-time work. He was just getting started on building his own digital consulting business from scratch. We moved fast. Within a year, we were married. I paid the rent, utilities, and groceries while he chased investors and built pitch decks late into the night. He told me we were building something together. I believed him. I covered everything financially while he lived off ramen noodles and startup dreams. When his company finally took off, everything changed, but in ways I didn't expect. He told me I didn't need to work anymore. Said he wanted me to enjoy life and breathe easy for once. I pushed back at first, but he insisted. We moved into a large custom-built home in the suburbs. Brandon picked every inch of it, from the kitchen layout to the fixtures. It even had a separate office wing with reinforced locks, and he made sure to explain those were for client confidentiality. He liked control. I didn't push back much then. His travel picked up. 1 week he'd be in Denver. The next, Houston. Then Phoenix. He always had the schedule memorized, down to the flight times. He'd bring me back little gifts. Spa sets, local snacks, t-shirts with corny slogans. Sometimes receipts. Sometimes selfies from hotel lobbies to show where he was staying. The thing is, I never asked for proof, but he gave it anyway. Looking back, that was the first red flag. It wasn't long before he took over all the finances. At first, it was to save me time, and later it became about efficiency. He stopped looping me in on decisions, said he'd handle the taxes. Then slowly, the car titles started showing up under his company's name. Bank accounts I used to access were suddenly being restructured for liability reasons. Even furniture we bought together was now marked under the business. I checked the house deed. My name was still there, but it felt like a placeholder. His phone was never out of sight. If I even glanced at it, he acted like I was violating some major boundary. I asked him about it once. He laughed and told me I was being dramatic. A few months ago, I noticed a package on our doorstep. I hadn't ordered anything. It was addressed to our home, but with a name I didn't recognize. Inside were bridal shower decorations, pink and gold, all floral and glittery. I showed it to Brandon. He shrugged it off and said a client probably mixed up the delivery address. I let it go. But I didn't throw it out. Things started stacking up after that. A misplaced receipt from a jewelry store. A work calendar left open on our shared iPad showing flights that didn't match his explanations. Then came the call that detonated everything. It was a Thursday afternoon. My phone rang with an out-of-state number. The woman on the other end introduced herself as Amelia. She was calm, polite, and direct. She asked why Brandon's ex-wife, me, was still appearing on his legal documents. I told her I was his wife, not his ex. She didn't speak for several seconds. Then she asked how long we'd been married. I told her 8 years. There was another long silence. That's when she told me something that made my stomach drop. She said she had married Brandon nearly a year ago, in Arizona, under the name Brandon M., a slightly altered version of his full name. I thought it was a prank. I asked for details. She told me they met at a tech conference in Phoenix 3 years ago. He courted her, flew out to visit often, even introduced her to people she believed were his family. She said he proposed 6 months before their wedding. They had a small ceremony. She sent me a photo of them at the altar. Brandon wore the same tuxedo he had worn on our wedding day. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I emailed her a scanned